This little rubber thing might be the most underrated part of the entire industrial industry. It just costs pennies, you'll find it on every machine you own, and it can shut down a $100,000 piece of equipment. Hey everyone, my name is Matthew and I'm here today with Dynaline to discuss O-rings. We're going to talk about what they actually are, what different types exist, and which one is right for your applications. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to pick up any one of these kits, read the label, and pick the O-ring that is right for you. Let's get right into it. So first, what is an O-ring? Well, it's the simplest seal probably in the entire world. It's a ring of rubber that sits in a groove between two parts. When those parts get tightened together, the ring gets squeezed and that squeezes the seal. It blocks fluids and gases from getting past, whether that's hydraulic oil under pressure, fuel, water, refrigerant, or just simply air. And that's one of the keys to understand for the rest of this video. The O-ring that's causing the seal is not just sitting there, it's being compressed. Which is exactly why size, material, and hardness all matter so much. If you have the wrong size, you get the wrong squeeze, and unfortunately, then you have no seal. The next question is, where can I find these? And the honest answer is, honestly, everywhere. O-rings can be found on air conditioning lines, pumps, valves, faucets, pressure washers, garden tools. Generally, if it holds a fluid or a gas, there's probably an O-ring in there. This right here is an N70 SAE kit. And by the end of today's video, you're going to be able to read every single measurement and understand what all of this means on the back of the package. Before we talk types of O-rings, the most important thing to understand is how they're measured. And truthfully, it's not super complicated because it only comes down to 3 distinct measurements. First, you have the inner diameter. This is the hole in the middle. Then you have the outer diameter, which is the edge to edge across the outside. And lastly, you have the cross section, which is the thickness of the rubber itself. And here's the handy part. Any two of those gives you the third. The inner diameter plus twice the cross section is the outer diameter. So most kits, like this metric one, mark every compartment by ID and cross section. That's all you need. And this is why several kits, like this one from Dynaline, comes with a wire thickness gauge. Drop your old O-ring into the slots until you find the one that it matches, and you've got your cross section. No calipers needed. We'll use this again later in the video when we're matching up an O-ring. And the nice thing about these measurements is you only need 2 at a time. You can always find the third. One important rule before we move on, and probably the most important one in this entire video, is that O-rings are designed to fit the groove and are not meant to be stretched. They're supposed to fit exactly into your groove. And the reason why is because if you don't have a proper seal, there's no point in even doing it anyway. So we just finished talking about numbers, and now we understand that each O-ring has 3 dimensions that we need to care about. But here's the kicker. The world couldn't agree on which measurement system we should use to classify O-rings. So there's 3. And which one is right for you purely depends on where your machine was made. If you're working on North American equipment, you're looking for SAE-sized O-rings. These ones come in a measurement of inches. If you're working on European equipment, or most modern equipment, you're going to be looking for metric O-rings because the measurements are in millimeters. And lastly, if you're working on Japanese equipment, you're going to be looking for the JIS measurement O-rings. This is the one a lot of people don't know exists, and it's why the right-looking metric ring still leaks on a Japanese excavator or import equipment. JIS sizes are their own system, and they're even organized by job. P series for moving parts, pistons, and dynamic seals. G series is for static, fixed connections, and V series for vacuum applications. SAE is in inches, metric is in millimeters, JIS is also in millimeters, but there's an additional metric that we need to factor in, which is P, G, or V. Look at these two, nearly identical to the eye, and they are not interchangeable. This is the takeaway. Close between standards is how leaks happen. It's always important to match the standard of the machine, not to the ring that looks right. Next up, we're going to be talking about what O-rings are made out of, and you'll find that most of them are actually just made of rubber, but different kinds. Sizing is only half the story. 2 O-rings can be the exact same size and behave completely differently, and this is because of what the rubber actually is. Different materials handle different fluids, chemicals, and temperatures. So let's break down the 3 main ones that you're going to run into. First up, we have Buna-N, which is also called nitrile. This is typically the default material of most O-rings. It's excellent with oils, fuels, and hydraulic fluid, which covers the vast majority of everyday sealing jobs. The best way to identify if a kit is using Buna-N or nitrile is if you find N in the name. Second, we have Viton. This is a fluoroelastomer, and compared to Buna-N, it's a heat and chemical upgrade. This kit is rated for -25 all the way to 200 degrees Celsius. Anywhere near an engine, hot fluids, or aggressive chemicals, where a standard nitrile ring would harden, crack, and give up, Viton is what you reach for. And that's why it comes in its own kit, in its own different color, so you don't grab the wrong one in a hurry. And last but not least, we have HNBR. This means hydrogenated nitrile. It's heat resistant, oil resistant, chemical resistant, and it is the material for air conditioning systems and refrigerant. Now, one thing you'll notice is that these O-rings are green, and that's a fun little industry standard. It's very useful because in a lot of cases, the color of the ring is telling you exactly what it's made out of. So if you see a green ring in an AC fitting, well, that's HNBR, and that's correct. One more variable, and I promise all of these kits are easily going to be decodable soon. The last thing we have to talk about is durometer, which is essentially the hardness of each ring. Do you see the difference? This one is a 70 durometer. That's the general purpose standard. A bit softer, conforms nicely into the groove, and this one is 90, and you can see it's noticeably firmer. It's the same size, same material, but it's for two very different jobs. So why would I want an O-ring that's harder? Well, it's got everything to do with pressure. In a high-pressure hydraulic system, the pressure is actively trying to squeeze the O-ring out through the gap between the parts. It's called extrusion, and it sheds really soft rings. In this case, harder rubber usually holds its ground pretty well. And that is the reason why this entire kit exists. These are the specialized high-pressure O-rings with an N90 rating. Now that we've covered pretty much everything we need to know about the naming, everything will now make sense. Take a look. Now, when we look at N90, we can also see it's made out of nitrile and it's got 90 durometer, and a V75 is Viton with a 75 durometer. The material letter and the hardness number. Every kit that we've shown so far is now easily decodable. Some jobs are specific enough that you need your own dedicated kit. First, we have the flange kit. Flanged connections are where two flat faces bolt together, and they use a face seal O-ring, and this kit is exactly that. They are all 90 durometer nitrile because flange connections in industrial and hydraulic systems tend to see real pressure, and thankfully it comes in a neat little case with dividers. And secondly, we have the AC assortment, which we've already seen in the materials section. It has 18 sizes matched to AC fittings, all in the material that refrigerant systems require. Once in a while, you run into an odd situation where a kit does not have the size you're looking for. Thankfully, they've thought of that. Of all the kits, this is probably my favorite one because sometimes you are in the odd situation where you can't find an O-ring that fits your size, or the seal is a really strange shape. What do you do in that situation? You make your own seal. This is the splicing kit. It has 5 sizes of nitrile cord, 3 feet of each, a cutting tool, and a special type of glue to glue it all together. And now the section we've all been waiting for: how do we tie all of this information together to find the right O-ring? Let's go through the process. It's actually pretty simple, and there's only 4 steps. Step 1, identify the application. What's the fluid? How hot does it get? How much pressure? That picks your material and durometer. If you have oil or hydraulics at normal temperatures, nitrile 70. If you have high pressure hydraulics, you're looking at 90 durometer. Heat or chemicals, you're looking for Viton. And if you're working with AC, well, you choose the green HNBR. Step 2, identify the standard. Is this a North American machine? You use SAE. If it's European, you use metric. Japanese, JIS. When you're not really too sure, you can always check where the equipment was built. Step number 3, measure. If the O-ring is intact and not badly worn, drop it into the thickness gauge for cross-section and measure the inner diameter with calipers or a ruler. And it's also important to remember that any 2 measurements give you the third. And one warning, sometimes an old O-ring can lie to you. If it's badly worn, measure the groove it came out of instead. Groove diameter and groove width is actually what it has to fit. Step 4, Once you have your kit and you have the measurements, open your kit and let's start referencing. Find the compartment with your ID and cross-section and do a final check. The new ring should sit into your groove snug. It should not be stretched drum tight or be wandering loose. So that's O-rings. There's 3 numbers, 3 standards, and a handful of materials. And it all falls under one golden rule. Match the ring to the groove, the material to the fluid, and the standard to the machine. Get those right, and these little rings will quietly do their job for years to come. Thank you for watching today's video. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below, and we'll try and respond to them as quickly as possible. And if this video saved you a trip to the parts counter, please consider subscribing and give this video a like. Once again, thanks for watching, and remember, Dynaline helps you get it done.